In this video, we're going to cover how to import the secondary template that the Nevada Department of Education has available on Commons, and then we're going to dive in deep into that template. So first things first, I already have created a sandbox here for my template. So I'm going to just go ahead and I can click on it, or I can go to Commons over here on the left and go there. I'm just going to go ahead and click the template. So I'm showing you a different way to do this. I'm going to click on Import from Commons, which takes me right to Commons. I'm going to again put Nevada Department and go find that secondary template to download it. Load more results. And here it is. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Click on the Import Download button. Put it into my secondary template right there. Click the Import to Course and wait. At this point, I'm going to go back to my dashboard so that I can see all my courses. Now I can see when I went back to my dashboard, here's that template that I imported the secondary template into. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. And the template doesn't have a lot of content because it just has some templated pages that are just there for you guys to use. There's really no course content or no actual subject content into this. So it's like a shell of templates. So when I clicked on it, it brought me to the home page. This is where you would change your title and change the image. And then down here, you would change this and maybe put a, instead of putting welcome, you can have welcome and put an intro message to your students, or you can put the course overview there, the course description. And you can even get rid of these images here that link. You can see that they're all hot-spotted to go to about your teacher, class overview, learning modules. So you can remove those. Let's kind of dig into that. To do that, I would just click Edit, and I can type in the name of my course here. So let's say I want to call this Chemistry. And here I would just delete it and just type in that course overview. So I'm just going to put type course description here, or you can put a message. Just realizing you have to change all that. If you want to get rid of anything here, you can also get rid of this down here because that doesn't need to be there. And you can, this class, that just takes them straight to the class overview page, so you might want to keep that. The class question board, you may want to keep it. It takes them to a discussion in Canvas where students can post and ask each other questions, or you can simply click on it and get rid of it. So whatever you want to leave here, you can get rid of it all. It's totally up to you. When you're done, you can also get rid of the image here. You can replace this with an image of your own. So if I want to go find a science image, and if you know how to create images or resize images, it's recommended that that's a banner. So this is a banner here. It's recommended that these be about 1,100 pixels by 330 pixels. That's the recommended. And then it just takes up a certain amount of space. So you can easily remove this. You don't have to have that there, totally up to you. And then you would just click Save. If you're going to replace it, you can replace it by clicking in the page. I like to center that page. If you do not see all the tools up here, then you would always click the three dots to the right, and it will give you all the tools, but here's the center, so I always like to make sure if I'm putting an image in that it's centered. And then you've got the image, upload images, user images, and then you can go add an image in there, and it will place it in. Just like any, like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, same thing. But I decided to get rid of it, and then I'd put my course description there. We will do another video where I will send you a video on how to actually use the tools within a page. But for this video, we're just going to go over the template. So at this point, I want to click into modules on the left and go through these modules. You can see we've already preloaded a Welcome to Your Journey class begins here, and this is for where students would start. So there's a class overview page. That's a template that you would need to fill in. If you don't want this image here, some people would put an image of themselves, or they would put like a science image or a social studies image or something, or you can just remove it. You don't really need to have that. But then you would go in and you would edit this page. So this is directions for you. All of that needs to be deleted. And you need to just put, and in here you'd put the name of your class. And if it's about chemistry, okay. And then I would put in here, I can use this space for a welcome message, just like it says here. Discussion of what we're going to go through, expectations. It's kind of like your, and I'll show you the syllabus page too that you can put your syllabus on. Or you can make this your syllabus page too. It's up to you. But obviously you would get rid of all this and type your own stuff in. If you don't want the image, just click on it, delete it, or replace it with another image by going to the image button there and then uploading a different image and then resizing it the same way you would do again in Google or in Microsoft Word. So all this stuff in Latin is just placeholder stuff. So your learning objectives, put them in there. Again, this is just a bulleted list. It's a list for you to use. Expectations, same thing. Edit that. Edit all this. Your grading scheme, edit all that. And whatever else you want to add in there, you can. When you're done, just click Save, and you are done with that page. And then you would go to the next page. This is about your teacher. Same thing, come in, replace it with your image. You can do a picture of yourself, or you can do a one of those emoji, I can't remember what they call them, images in there. And then if you don't want to do a biography, you can. You don't have to, and then whatever information you need. So that's for you to edit. This class question board, for college, we do use it. I don't recommend using it actually for K-12. It just kind of leaves a place that you have to monitor, and I don't think you probably want to monitor that. So I would just leave it unpublished. You can also just delete the page, okay? And then, again, this is just that first module. This is already there for students. So if they want to click on this and go to resources to learn how to use Canvas, they would click on it, and everything about how to, all these resources for students, how they can do assignments, how they post an assignment, how they take a quiz, how they post discussions, how they see their grades. That's their set for them. So you need to go through every page. And then this is how to annotate assignments, because if you're deciding to do student annotation assignments where you put a PDF in the course and then they can actually type on it or draw on it, I created this document here for students to know how to use the annotation tool. If you're not going to use annotated assignments, then you can just go ahead and unpublish that. And then here are the template pages. So if I go back to modules, we just went over these first few, and if you're going like, well, I'm not going to use annotated assignments, so I'm just going to click on Publish. And I'm not going to use class question board, so I'm going to click on Publish. But the rest of these I'm going to use. Anything that's unpublished, not green, students can't see it. You can see it, they can't. On this page, if you want to see what students see, you can click the Student View button up in the upper right. Now you can see what students see. So those items I unpublished are right here. And you can see also that their menu is different. I would click the right lower side to leave Student View. Comes back to Teacher View. I actually would unpublish everything here because this is your template pages. So you wouldn't want students to see that. There's also a module here, and I think we moved these down below. But if I wanted to move this up top, I could simply click collapse all, and there's my modules. And I said, well, I really want to move that up. I move the module and I want to move it to the top so that I can see it as a teacher. And there's all this information about this template. So let's kind of look over that. That should have been at the top just for us to go through. So this was written by Canvas, instructional designers, going over the template. So you would read through it. It talks about all the different icons. The icons we use are green, but I do have more icons than what you see here. We added more. We added some headphones and some other ones. Here are the 3 different banners that are in there, and you can upload your own. And click next. The course card, we kind of showed that. So we actually, here's your icons, and there's actually, I think, 3 more that we've added to this over the last month. There's different ways you can design your page, and you can change these specific buttons that are on the home page. But just read through this, and they go through and tell you how to do that. This is Canvas for instructors, so if you want to learn more, there's another resource for besides the videos that we're doing for you and the videos that Learning Services does. Here's just straight up all the things on Canvas. Getting started, how do you use the rich content editor. So this is a great resource that takes you through those, how to do things. Let me come back to the actual course, the sandbox. And this is just an example of a digital learning lesson plan. And then another example. Those are just thrown in there. And then it takes you, again, back to the module that the kids see. So this is just that teacher module. We already went through this one. But let's go through this example template module. We call it Module X. And we use the X.X because you need to have a naming convention. So we found that it's easier, totally up to you. We're just telling you what we have discovered over the years, that it's always easier to call something. A module is just a compilation of content that is grouped together either by lesson or a theme, and you can call that a module, module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, etc. And then you can even go one level further by lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. So module 1, lesson 1, module 1, lesson 2, or you can call it unit 1. You don't have to use the word module. You can use a chapter if you want. Think of a book. So some of the writers, most of what we do now is we try to name. If this was, we were going to create module 1, we wouldn't actually open these pages and type right into them. We're going to duplicate pages. So the first thing I would do is I would click create a module and give it a name. And maybe I'd call it, maybe I want to call it unit 1, or I can call it module 1, but I'm going to call it unit 1 just to show that we can be different. Unit 1, and I'm going to call it scientific method, right? I'll call it measurement. Okay, so there's my unit 1. I'm just going to drag it up here. And I know that I want an overview page and I want a wrap-up page. So I know those things are going to exist. So I'm not going to click this and edit it. I actually want to click on the dots to the right, the 3 dots, and I want to duplicate that page. Then I'm going to drag it down and put it in that new module I created. And I know I need this one, the wrap-up, because that's, remember I talked about the beginning and the end. The kids need an overview. What's going to happen? And then at the end, what did you learn? I'm going to duplicate that page, and I'm going to drag it down here. Okay? Now, if this is just one unit and there's no lesson 1, lesson 2, which can occur in secondary, then depends how you teach. Math teachers tend to do a lot of lessons where science and other topics like social studies tend to do, or even English, tend to do more of, I just have a module based on a theme, like I have a theme here. So let's say I know I am going to use key terms and vocabulary, so maybe I'm going to duplicate that. Now, you don't have to put everything in the same order, but I'm just going to stick items. I'm building it. This is where we have that course that's called Mapping Your Way to a Quality Course, which we're going to add for you guys so that you can see that. But where you map out, what do I need? What pages do I need? How many content pages do I need? In other words, lesson pages. How many assignments? Do I need a quiz page? So I'm just kind of doing this off the top of my head, but I go, well, I'm going to do a presentation probably, so I'm going to duplicate that page, and I'm going to drop it down. I'm probably going to do that first. And I might even do my vocabulary first, just so the kids see it. And then I might have some videos, so I'm going to duplicate that too. And I'm just kind of building what I think I'm going to have, and you can move things around. If you want reading, you can do that too. So maybe I have a bunch of pages I got from OpenStax or somewhere, and I want to use that. And maybe that goes there. And I don't necessarily, because maybe I'm face-to-face, I don't necessarily want a discussion, but I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it just to kind of show you what that looks like. Maybe we have our discussion at the beginning. And then maybe I'm going to have an assignment where they're going to upload a file. I'm going to duplicate that one. And maybe one other assignment where they have to do, I don't know. I'm just going to put up file upload for this. And then I might do a quiz. Quizzes are the only object within a module that you cannot duplicate. So if you click on these three dots, you're going to go, where's the duplicate button? It's not there. You always have to create a quiz from scratch. Now, this is because this is a classic quiz. It's not a new quiz. If it's new quizzes, you can duplicate it. Classic quizzes, you can't. So we actually now have to create that quiz page, which would be your assessment, okay? So I would just click in here, kind of have what I want so far, but I do want to add a quiz there. So I'm going to click this plus button. So here, if I click these three dots here, I can edit the name. I can add prerequisites and requirements, but that's for a different, we'll talk about these in a different video. But if I click this plus button, I can go ahead and click quiz, file, page, discussion. I can do text header. But if I click quiz and I say create a quiz, you can choose if you want to do new quizzes or classic. So that's something I highly recommend that you go visit the training, and I'll put those links for you. Go check out classic quizzes and go check out new quizzes. Decide what you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and use classic, and I'm going to call it x.x because I don't know what I'm going to label it yet. And I'm going to call it scientific method. All right, and I'm going to add the item. So there it added. And I'm just going to drag it and just grab those 6 dots and those 8 dots, and drag them up. Now I don't essentially want to start naming this yet because I might add different pages. So I don't really want to do the x.x yet, but I know that this is going to be, if I click those and I go edit, I know this is going to be 1.0, unit 1, page 0, or I can call it unit 1, I can do 1.1 for page 1 also if I want. And because I did that, I can get rid of this. And I don't know what this is going to be yet. But as I go through here, let's just click the next. Let's actually go back to that first page. So here's the first page. Everything in here says your lesson overview, your objectives, your students, your standards, your essential questions, and a to-do list. So this is just kind of a layout for you. So I'd come in here and I would get rid of here. Get rid of those 3 dots. I don't know why people leave the 3 dots, but you can get rid of everything. And in this lesson, so talk to students. You could say in this lesson, we will be learning, or you can say you will be learning about, scientific or scientific measurements or the metric system, right? And so you just type it out in a few sentences. And then here you would put in your learning objectives that students can understand. Then you would put in your targeted standards or learning standards. And if you don't want to have an essential question, dump it. Just get rid of it. It's up to you. Okay? I don't use them in my courses. And then the to-do list is where you would come back, and I don't like the review. You can do that. I prefer to start everything with read, and then it tells them in here, read this chapter in your textbook, or read the lesson pages in this unit, right? Read all, right? And then if there's a discussion, then I put the name of the discussion. So whatever that name, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. And then I usually get rid of this. So I tend to use the words create for like an assignment, or if they're going to create something. If you just have an assignment for them, then you just call it assignment, right? And then just name it. I get rid of this, and I just put the actual name of the assignment. And so I'm just kind of like, and then this is just a placeholder. So maybe you have test, you can use test, or you can do assessment, right? Whatever you want to call it, or you can call it a quiz. So you can do multiple assignments. You just want to list everything. This you actually create after you've put all your module together. So you would fill this in at the end, all right? And then just click save. Don't worry about publishing, right? So you do things there, and you click next, and I can just click in here easily and click edit, and just type in my vocab word, right? I'm just going to type in some words here, right? And then a definition, whatever you want to do here. You can add more by when you click in here. You see this would get rid of the table. This is insert row before, insert row after, so that's going to bring a row down. So there's another row. And if you just mouse over, it tells you delete the row, etc. And then just click save. Okay. Then let's go next. Now this is if you had a presentation. Again, you would just come in here and edit all this, right? So you're going to, this is where you're going to put all your stuff, and you're going to change in here. Give it a topic, something that makes sense, a name. And you're also going to edit this with the actual name of the presentation. So maybe you have a Google slide presentation on the metric system. So maybe this is called metric system. And whatever this is called here. Well, that's not letting me actually click the. So again, in this area, you just put, introduction, prior knowledge. This is what we're doing. Why are we doing this? So you just put that in there, okay? And get rid of that there when you're done. Again, this is just kind of directing you on what to do, and get rid of the words in Latin and the directions that are given to you. And then you can embed your presentation there. So I demonstrated that the other day. If I wanted to do that, then I would just get rid of this. Sorry. And let's go find a slide. So I'm going to go open Google Slides. And I have a presentation here. And how do I get that embed code? So you just go File. You go to sorry, they keep moving where it's at. Share, and then go to Publish to Web. From here, click the embed link, and then click Publish. If you want the slide sizes to be bigger, you can, but I just use the default. I click Publish, so embed, Publish. Click OK. And then just copy it. Control C, or right click and copy. However you want to do that. And then you can close that. Then when I come back to my page, I want to click my three dots. If you don't see the cloud, go to this cloud and paste in that embed code and submit. Now your Google Slides is within that course. If I want to make this a little bigger, click and drag so it's a little bigger. And then down here, if you don't want additional resources, get rid of it. If you want to put additional resources for your students, put them there. Otherwise, you can get rid of this. Okay. So I can just click Save, just to kind of give an idea of what we've done here. And obviously, this is not the right slide presentation, but I wanted to show you how you could do that. And you would give directions in here that would say, you know, view the metric system presentation below, right? So you'd say, view the metric system presentation below, blah, 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 blah. So you get rid of all this, and you would give them instructions. What are they doing? Why do you want them to go through this? So that they actually know that they can click through this. And this is just like, remember I was telling you last week that, or when we met, that whatever I change over here in the slide presentation will automatically update on Canvas. Okay, so you don't have to. So that's the whole presentation. Pretty cool. So for this page, if you had just where you just had text, this is a great place for text. So just, again, same thing, edit. And if you're copying from a website, you always want to do, if you're copying from a website, when you copy it, when you bring it in, okay, so I just copied a bunch of text from a website. When I bring it in, let me get rid of this. I want to right click and say paste as plain text, because if I don't do that, I could bring over code that's really bad. And then when I save this, it might cut off some of the words, or it adds extra computer coding, because this is HTML coding, and so it can act funny. So just to avoid that, anytime you copy from like a website and you want to paste it in, make sure that you are doing that same thing I just showed there, that you're going to right click and paste as plain text. And that just gets rid of any of that stuff that might be picked up from that website. So there's directions here. You just put an introduction, you know, and change the title there. And you might even, you know, so this is more like a textbook on this point here. Let me show you a really good example of a course that has a really good reading page. So here's an example of a government course that this is a reading page. And it just has text, and there might be some images. So this is an example, again, of a really good reading page. Different types of government, okay? So this is for that government course that kids have to take. So there's several reading pages in this one here. And here's another reading page where there's some images added. A lot of this came from OpenStax, so it's very well done, which is a free resource. So the resources are down here. But instead of sending kids out to OpenStax, and there's stuff in OpenStax for high school teachers and stuff, but you can see, you know, there's actually a name here, right? What are we doing? And then there's, let's read that. So it looks a lot like a book, a textbook, when you're doing a reading page. So that's kind of what this is here. Again, you can get rid of this stuff. If you don't want to put additional resources, get rid of it. And then we have a video. So same thing as like when I did the Google Slides. This is like a video. So if you wanted same type of template, again, I'll just go over this really quick because we did cover this, but I'm going to show you again. If I want to put a video, then obviously I would say watch the video below, and I would give the actual title of the video up here. But we want to embed it, right? So I would want to go to, and I'm going to go to Crash Course YouTube. And actually, I'm just going to go back to their YouTube channel. Okay, and I'm just going to choose something here. Okay, that's not good. Sorry. Moving back to Crash Course. Actually, open Crash Course. Okay. And go to their videos. I went to the wrong spot up there. I'm just going to grab anything. Here's viruses. Okay, so we're going to grab viruses.
Meet Renewal by Anderson. Meet Renewal by
And
Anderson.
I'm just going to click. So whatever video you guys get off of YouTube, click the share button, click the embed button, and click copy. Then go back to Canvas, and you would just find that cloud again and paste it. And now you have any YouTube video can be embedded. And if you don't want this, get rid of it. Okay. But I would edit this to match that video. Now, can you do more than one video on a page? Absolutely. But I would make sure that you're probably using this over again. So if I was doing more than one video on a page, then I would probably copy all. That's not what I want to do. It's going to drag itself. I want to come up here, copy all that, and then instead of this, get rid of this and paste it in there, right? And now I would put a different video title. What this would be, I'd probably say, how do vaccines work, right? And then tell them. And then maybe I want to throw a different one down here, wherever I'm getting a different video. Close that out, go backwards, and grab whatever video I want.
I have a confession to
make. Just stop it, click share, the code, the copy, the back here. And if I want to get rid of some of that stuff up there, you don't have to follow all this up here exactly. But again, click the cloud. So you could, I would say no more than 3 videos on a page, but you could absolutely do that. How do vaccines work? I'd put the title here, like mitosis and the cell cycle, right? So I would say no more than 3 videos per page. Then here's another type of page. If I want to do an assignment, so here is in this activity you're going to do, and just spell it out for them. And then you're going to get rid of this. And if you need to link a video here, you can link a video on an assignment page by telling them, hey, watch this video, or go to this website, or read this article, or look at this image. Absolutely. And then you would come into here and you'd say, hey, step 1, read the article. Or step 1, watch the video below. Maybe step 2 is to read an article. Maybe I got to have 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps. So it's like, maybe I have more. So I just copy that and then come down, because you want to be as descriptive as possible. So maybe it's now 3 steps I have, and then this one becomes step 4. But I want to give a name to this. So you want to say, maybe you want to have them read, and then maybe they have to watch, and then maybe they're going to create. Maybe you're going to ask them to create a presentation, like a slideshow presentation or something. They'll create their own video, and then they're going to submit their work. So there are some really good courses and examples on what a really good step 1, step 2, step 3 for kids. And we can do that in a different video. Then over to here, discussion. These are easy to edit. If you're going to do a discussion, you would get rid of this. Okay, again, this is where you would put your overview of that discussion. In this, unit, you have been learning about scientific measurement, blah, da, 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 etc., right? You are going to respond to the following prompt, and you would put the prompt down here, and then it already has the directions on how they would post to other people if you're going to use a discussion. So that's pretty much set up for you. Again, you can add videos, you can add links to articles, whatever you want kids to do. And then here's that quiz. So to edit this quiz, we got the name of it, but if I want to actually put questions in, I would click on it. I would type in, actually if we go back to our modules, because that's templated right here, I would just copy all this. Make sure we can get it copied. So I'm going to click and drag and copy that. And then go to modules again, and go to that quiz I just created here, called scientific method, and click edit, paste that in, so it's there, and then make those edits, right? So I'm just going to delete this, and if this is just a multiple choice, then I would maybe get rid of this and say multiple choice quiz that covers unit 1. Make sure you change things, okay? If you don't want them to have 2 attempts, get rid of it. And then and you can make all the edits down here. Again, you have to go through, that's a different training to show you how to change all of this. And then you have the questions. So you can just start doing new questions, or you can make a question bank of questions. So new question, same thing as any other type. You have a choice, different choices here. This rich content editor, we call it. It's the same for every type of page, for assignments and content pages and lesson pages and quizzes and discussions. It's the same layout. And I will actually send you guys a video done by one of the Canvas trainers on how to use the rich content editor up here. I'm just showing you some of the stuff. So this is multiple choice, right? You would put in your answers, and then you would choose which one's correct, and then you would put your points up here. So there is a separate video we'll give you on how to do quizzes. Make sure, though, you always update a question, and then you save. So once you have, and then at the very last template I decided to put into this module I just created is my wrap up and looking ahead. So again, you would click edit. You would come in here, get rid of all this stuff that's in yellow. In this lesson, we learned about la da 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 da. You should have been able, after completing this, you should be able to, etc., whatever the learning objectives were. Get rid of this, because that's just directions to you. This is directions to you. And then just give a short overview of what the kids are going to be doing in their next lesson, and you're done. So once I got that module together, and it's what I want, and I'm just kind of doing this as an example, I would actually rename everything. And I would say, okay, this is 1.1, and I'm going to call it key terms of vocabulary. I can get rid of the copy 2. And then I could say this is my 1.2. And this is, get rid of that naming. And I would just call this, whatever. Everything needs to be different though. And then this is maybe some reading, 1.3. And this would be, so give it a title. Give it a title that makes sense. And if you want to put video there and leave video, that's fine too. I could call that metric system also, but it should be a little bit different. And then this would be assignment. So we actually like to leave that word assignment. And this would be 1.5 and give it a name. And etc. You guys should get the idea here. So let's just pretend I'm done. Discussion. Okay. And here's a quiz. 1.7. And I just want to keep using the same look. And then I just have my wrap up. And so once I edit that, once I give it its name 1.8, because that will be unique, then I could just get rid of the copy thing at the end. So that's kind of a quick overview. So there we go. We've got a whole kind of module built. If you already have content, you can just copy and paste. If you want to do an annotation page, you can do that too. There's annotation page here. So let's just kind of, let me make a copy of that and just kind of show you really quick how that one looks, because this one is kind of unique. I'm just going to dump it in here at the bottom, even though I shouldn't, because I'd have to rename everything, right? But let's just kind of show this how it would work. But if I'm in here, annotation will show for kids. So if I click edit, annotation means that you're going to put a PDF here. So I scroll down and I choose student annotation, and I go upload a file. So I got to go find a PDF. And let me go find one. Hold on a second. Okay, so I have I chose student annotation, upload file, and I have an assignment here called label the computer component. I click open, and it adds it. Then I've got to click save. So once it's there, I can't see it as a teacher. It's like, well, where's that I just did? So you have to go to student view to see it. But this has to be published, so that's why unfortunately, we have to publish this entire module just to see, and that's fine. We just don't want to publish this one up here. So I have to publish this entire module just to see it in student view. So now I can go back to that, and I can click student view. And this is where annotation is way different. I wish we could see it as a teacher, but only a student can see that show up. So you can see as the student. So otherwise, I would want to have directions up here that tell it like, hey, what are we going to do here? What's the overview of this assignment? Just a quick sentence or two. And then here is like, okay, access the document, and you want to give the name of the title. The name of the title of this one would be label computer component. So I'd put that up here, label the computer component. And then I would give them more information on what I want them to do on that document, right? Which is actually right here. So I could copy and paste those directions and put them up in this area here. And then it says, once you're done, you can submit. So a kid can easily, an annotation assignment, you can see the submit button. So if I want to annotate on this, I can draw. So I have a draw where I can draw. I can do thicker lines, whatever I want, or I can do text. So I could type in here and put, well, number one is a scanner, right? So I type in scanner. And then I could type in, well, number two, and I can move this around. Just trash can it, okay. And just click in there and say, well, number two, what is number two? The microprocessor. So that's the CPU, and etc. So they can type in there. And then when they're done, they can just submit. They can also do a strike through. They can draw boxes. They can highlight. So even if English people, you want kids to highlight, they can highlight. And then I just click submit assignment. So some people like this, some people don't. And so that's an example. Kids can always choose a new attempt, and they can see that they submitted. If they click submission details, they can actually see, and you as a teacher will actually see this when you go to grade. So when I go to leave student view, just to kind of give you an idea of what that will look like in grade. Sorry, going on a side thing here. I can see they submitted. That's the test student. If I click right here and go to SpeedGrader, there's the assignment. And then I can just give them their grade over here. Or if there's a rubric, it would have a button right there to view the rubric. So you can easily grade. Go back to the course and to my modules. I just took you on a little side tangent there. But I'd have to rename this, right? To call it 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. Okay, but I'm just going to actually remove this and remove it from there, okay, from that module. So that's kind of an overview. And the same thing, so you just, do it over again. Once you got your first module done, where I called it a unit, then you go create your second one. So up here, give it a name, and unit 2, whatever you're going to name it, right? And add it, and then do the same thing over again, except this time, you might want to just move this down so it's out of your way and move this up. So now you're going to do the same thing. Copy what you want, place it in here, rename them. Well, actually put content in and then rename them so that you don't mess up your naming system. Okay? So sorry this video is a little long. There's just a lot to show you there. But I will be sending you guys additional videos on how to use that rich content editor that I kind of showed where that cloud was, and other things in that rich content editor that you can see anytime you click the edit button. This is your rich content editor. All of this up here. The edit, the view, the insert, formatting, tools, and tables. So there's all kinds of things. So that is a total separate, different video that I will send you from actually Canvas Instructional or Learning Services. All right, so that's the end of this video on how to use the template.